Yeah, all our emotional cues, all our emotional takeaways we get from the Ramayana, and the Mahabharata is the mind. Yeah? All our intellectual cues we get from the Mahabharata. Now, in the Ramayana, there are multiple villains, but one of the most famous and enduring villainesses is Kaikeyi. Yes, everybody remembers Kaikeyi. She was Rama's stepmother, second wife to his father, and she is responsible for banishing him to the forest and trying to get her son sit on the throne. So she is very famously in the culture a bad example. Yes, she is held up as everything that a woman should not be. She is greedy, she is selfish, she is not compassionate, she has no motherly feelings. Yeah. So that is the standard story. Even though she's not so bad in Valmiki, it's all the other Ramayanas that were written later. There are about 300 Ramayanas in the world, by the way, in various languages all over the world. Even in Indonesia, there is one. It's called the Ramin Kane. Even though they are an Islamic country, their core literature is the Ramin Kane, in which Hanuman is very different. Over there, he's a sort of playboy kind of fellow. That is because of the Chinese culture. They have a very famous archetypal image, rather like Hanuman, called monkey. So they confused monkey with Hanuman. Hanuman is not a monkey, he's a Vanara, which is a different species altogether. So Kaikeyi, the bad woman of our story, the warning, the terrible stepmother, the cruel lady, she didn't obey her husband, all those violations of culture that are, yeah, that's what I'm saying, but that is the assumption, yes, that is what we all, but there is a deeper story, there is, people, the original Ramayana was written by Valmiki, but when Valmiki was writing it, Hanuman was also writing a Ramayana. Hanuman is Rama's biggest devotee. He came to know that Valmiki has written a Ramayana, and he came to know that Brahma, the creator, promised him that as long as the Himalayas stand, your Ramayana will also stand. But since he was a participant, his Ramayana was going to be better. So he hid it. And certain aspects of it are revealed, but apparently only in the next cycle of creation, when Hanuman will become the next Manu, that Ramayana will be revealed. So at the moment, we have to make do with Valmiki. So, in this story, first of all, this hysteria that we have against Kaikeyi is because almost all of us in those circumstances will do the same things. We are protesting too much, it is a preemptive strike to show our virtue and our goodness, that we would never be in that situation. Oh, yeah? Secondly, she was not wrong. She had 100% right to ask. When she was married, Dasaratha, Rama's father, the king, promised very categorically, I will make her son the king. So the sad truth of the matter is Rama had absolutely zero right to the throne. I can see the shock rippling and radiating. She was exceptionally beautiful, and in the Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, it's very clear that he was sexually besotted with her. Even Rama says so. That my father is an senile old man who is just cannot curb his sexual desire. Now these are the parts of the Ramayana which are censored nowadays. Yeah? If there is any mention of thigh or buttock or breast in the Ramayana, immediately Sanskrit was a very sensual, very erotic language. But we are deeply embarrassed. 800 years of Muslim rule and then 200 years of the Victorians. So but fundamentally Rama had no right to the throne. Zero. So first of all, this The villains over here are actually Dasaratha and his entire court. They were trying to foist somebody who did not have the right. Yes, it is true, the eldest son normally becomes king, but you made the promise that even if her son is born later, it will be her son that will be. So, end of story. The Ikshvakus, that is the dynasty that Rama belonged to, they go around boasting all the time that we give up our life but we don't break our word. Yes? Pran jaya par vachan na jaya, that's what they say in the culture. So, secondly, she had saved his life and he had promised her that time. Dasaratha had promised her, she saved his life in a battle, drove him away from the battlefield and healed him. Those were the two boons. But there is a deeper problem. You see, there is a deeper problem which only yogis understand, and that is Dasaratha was the biggest obstacle to Rama fulfilling his destiny as an avatar. Okay, now we are going into deeper and deeper waters. Dasaratha loved Rama, yes, and that was the problem. He loved him so much, he didn't want his son to grow. He didn't want his son to come to his intellect. He didn't want his son to come to his destiny. Remember when he was a young man, Vishwamitra comes and says, yes, Brahma Rishi Vishwamitra. The Brahma Rishi is the highest grade of, even greater than the gods, yes? Such a man comes and says, give me your son, I want to teach him, I want to train him. And what does Dasaratha say? No, he is dearer to me than my own life. Yeah. But Vishwamitra needed him at that moment because he needed to teach him all the astras, Brahmastra, all those kind of things. He needed him to kill all those demons over there, and he needed him to meet Parashurama because Parashurama was carrying the energy of Vishnu within him, and that energy had to be transferred to Rama so that he could fulfill his destiny. So Vishwamitra needed this boy out of the palace and with him, and get married also. At that time, he had to threaten a curse. And that was the only time that Rama got out. So because of that, he got the knowledge of the divine weapons. He got the ability to fight. The world was in very dark and terrible times. The demons were basically ruling the world. Rama was born to destroy them, and he needed to training because Astra, these mystical weapons that they use, you cannot just pick it up from a book, it has to be transmitted. Only Vishwamitra could transmit. And he was known as Rishi Vyagra and Rama was known as Nara Vyagra. Vyagra is Sanskrit for tiger, not Viagra, yes? Whenever somebody is called Vyagra, that means that the Kundalini is flowing, the Shakti is flowing, the divine, the Devi energy is flowing in them. Whenever somebody is called Kesari, it means that lion, it means that they are intellect. So, I know our general tendency to think of Rama as that as a very mild, meek. No, not at all. His name was Naravyagra, the human tiger. And Vishwamitra was 10 times more. He was a Rishi Vyagra. He was a tiger amongst Rishis. So that man had to train Rama, and he saw this problem would happen later on in life also. So after he was married, he had like 14 years where he was assimilating everything. He was assimilating the Vishnu Shakti because Parashurama was carrying that around. Parashurama was not a real avatar. He was a very specialized avatar called Avesha avatar some other time. If you want to go on YouTube, my videos are there. I've spoken on this Avesha avatar. But even when you receive that influx of Shakti, you got to take time to assimilate it. So that is the 14 years. Then the time has come for Rama to go out into the forest because lots of other people need to get moksha, Yeah, Jatayu, Ahalya. He has to liberate many people, he has to kill many demons. That is his destiny, that is the sole purpose why Vishnu has taken the trouble to come to earth. And what is the father doing? Let me make him king. Once I make him king and give him responsibilities, he won't go away from his responsibilities. So for his personal swartha, as it is called, his personal selfish happiness, his personal selfish desire. Now Kaikeyi, contrary to what is generally supposed, even in the Valmiki Ramayana it is very clearly understood that Kaikeyi used to love Rama more than anybody else. In fact, when the news comes that he is going to be crowned as Yuvaraja, he is going to be crowned, she actually rewards the person bringing the news. She's so happy. So Kaikeyi, in the yogic context, in the Hanuman written Ramayana, Kaikeyi understands that if I don't do something at this point, Rama's entire avatar will be blocked because of this foolish old man. Plus, if he does that, he has created a catastrophe because he has gone against his own word. He has gone against his own promise. So, they have this little consultation. Vishwamitra, Rama and Kaikeyi have this little consultation. And she says, I'll do it, but I'm going to be universally hated for all time. And Vishwamitra just says something very simple. He says, as well as I do, personalities don't reincarnate. so Kaikeyi is never going to reincarnate. It is just a Vasana Samaskara that reincarnates. But since you have such a problem, okay, next time he takes the avatar, you can take care of him. So she is reborn as Yashoda. That is her reward for taking all that blame. So she has to intervene, she has to hold his feet to the fire basically. Everybody is telling Rama, rebel. Lakshmana explicitly says, I'll drag this old fool off the throne. And those are the exact words, by the way. I'll drag this old fool off the throne. You just give the order. But he knows his destiny and he knows that he has no right to sit over there. Actually, he has no right. But more important, he has to go into the forest. 14 years, he has a lot of work to do in the forest. He has a lot of demons to kill. He has a lot of people to grant moksha to. He has a lot of people to teach. Yeah, he has to meet Agastya. His entire destiny is being blocked because of one person's selfish love. And don't think Rama was some kind of sentimental fool also. He was very sharp. Naravyagra, he was not called like that. When he comes back, after killing Ravana and everything, he comes back. He doesn't go directly back into Ayodhya. He actually sends Hanuman first. It's been 14 years. Bharata has been sitting on the throne for 14 years. Maybe he's got habituated to it and maybe he'll have some resentment at being asked to vacate it. If so, tell me, I won't enter. So he knows human psychology much better than me. He knows very well that once you sit on that position of power, yeah, in Greek mythology, the seat of power, it used to bond with your thighs and your buttocks, and you had to be torn off it. Somebody like Hercules had to come and tear you off because people got so attached to that they could not. So this part of the Ramayana also nobody says because the popular perception is Rama and Bharata were locked in love in a tub of hot melted chocolate, all gooey sentiment all the time. Not true. No doubt Bharata was an exceptional person, he was an exceptional human being. But Rama knows human nature. He sat on the throne for 14 years. He might have got habituated to it. He might have got used to power. So if you come and tell me that he is not happy at the news that I have returned, then I won't enter only. Because I don't want to create trouble. So as you can see with this one story and this one perspective, a big axe has been taken to most of our assumptions. And this is what the yogis used to do. They would take access to your assumptions. They would take access to your conditionings. They would keep saying, okay, that's what you think. Maybe there's another way to look at it. Maybe there's another way. Because they know that if you can approach anything that is given to you, any story, any situation, any scenario, if you can approach it without any preconditions, without any cultural biases or gender biases, you can just look at it in its authentic reality. That is training to become free. That is training to become shake loose of the condition. and that is much more difficult. To really look at something with fresh eyes, with original eyes, is much more difficult. And especially in our culture is very ancient. 6,000 years we've been at it. So it's all stuff like breathing only. The problem is the yogic methodology of telling stories so that they would teach and touch and transform. That got lost. And then it became all these bedtime stories. Or even worse, pravachans. You have these pravachans, no, where they... What do they do in these pravachans? They just reinforce you in every prejudice you have, yes? 95% of these pravachans are just reinforcement of cultural prejudices. Old age of a culture, such things happen. Fortunately, our culture keeps rejuvenating and renewing itself. So the notion of stories, of kathas, that's what stories were called. Kathas were meant to teach. Kathas were meant to challenge. Kathas were meant to shake you. You are meant to engage with it. You are not just meant to memorize, or you are just not meant to. Because they understood that the freedom is not possible for a person unless the person starts becoming authentic. Not just in the thinking, even in how you respond to a story, you should not be responding from your culture, or you should not be responding from your language, or you should not be responding from your gender. You should respond in an original, creative way to that moment. Whatever is operating, whatever is the truth of that moment, you should vibrate according to that. You should not bring all your baggage. The whole point of yoga is to have no baggage. Some people, they go absolutely nude for that reason, that we don't want even langot baggage. No, the Jain monks, they still do. No? They've been doing it for 2000 years. Even today on the roads early in the morning, you can see them. Very literally, they don't want any baggage. They want to be authentic at every moment. So the whole point of yoga, the whole point of meditation, of breathing, of stories like this is just basically deconditioning you. Because you are always enlightened, you are always liberated. It's just the baggages, there's the accumulated mountains of karma that need to be removed. And once that happens, you hit your authentic self, that's it. You realize. So this is one of the very interesting stories because it has so many unconscious assumptions, so many unconscious cultural hooks, and about how women are viewed and how they are demonized. Let's not get into that. That's a whole different story. But in very real terms, Kaikeyi was the savior of the world. Kaikeyi saved the avatar from going waste, which can happen, by the way. Don't think that just because an avatar is born, he can fulfill his destiny. That can be blocked. Kaikeyi actually saved the avatar from going waste. So actually we all owe a huge debt to Kaikeyi of gratitude. Yeah? Okay? Meditation? Sarvam Shivam.